Matter of fact, I put only one T in Stetson Bennett's name up here, so I need to go ahead and fix that in the headline because I'm famous for the typos in the headline. So I'm going to ask y'all, like, in the chat, like, what do y'all think about what's going on at Georgia? And for the folks that are continuing to ask in the chat about the Ohio State-Maryland situation, Doc Winston O'Boogie did me a service and dropped in the chat the video that I made, so you can go pop into that one and pop back into this one if that's what you need to do. See, so RJ, who should Michigan look at when Harbaugh leaves? Would Fickell take the job? All right, so it turns out I actually have something to say about this, but you're going to have to wait till Friday. I'm sorry. Like, I'll say this, though. Jim Harbaugh is not built to withstand a 1-2 start at Michigan. He's not built to do it, especially in an abbreviated season. His personality, his attitude, they don't mesh well with what's going on up there at Michigan. He's eccentric. He's a little bit weird. His dress code kind of freaks us out. He's busting nuts on Bo Schembechler's monument. It's not conducive to endearing you to all people. But if you're winning, nobody gives a damn how eccentric you are. Matter of fact, the difference between eccentric and weird is, are you winning? You get to be eccentric if you're winning. You're weird if you're not. Like, Mark Fitterich is eccentric, talking to himself on the mound when he's winning. He's weird when he's losing games. Steve Carlton can make the same claim. When he's winning 27 of the Phillies' total 59 games, I think it's 1972, 1974, then yeah, absolutely, he's eccentric. But if he were to go 0-27 or 2-27, 26, 25, 2-25, goodness me, I can't do math. I was an English major. Probably not going to feel that way about him. So what does Jim Harbaugh need to do? Well, a win against Wisconsin would certainly help, right? Getting back to 500 would certainly help, especially as the spotlight is going to be on you and Penn State this weekend, because Nebraska feels like they ought to be able to go and get a W against Penn State because Penn State is winless, right? Wisconsin feels like they've been saving up for a couple of weeks to go beat up on Michigan, so that's going to be a little bit tougher task. Plus, Graham Mertz is actually a good quarterback, which means that the corners that Michigan has going to have to show that they can shut down at least the Wisconsin wideouts who, ain't been that much to write home about, but they got a tight end that is absolutely the truth. And then we're looking at not just can he win that game, can he go and beat Ohio State? Because I'm gonna lay it out for you. Jim Harbaugh can go winless the rest of the way through November, even the first week of December. But if he beats Ohio State, we're all good in Ann Arbor. Nobody's doing nothing. Nobody's going nowhere. He's going to get another year to try to get this thing right with an entirely grown-up group of kids. Like, that's the thing that I don't think a lot of people want to give him an opportunity to figure out is he put 4 offensive linemen in the draft. He lost 10 to the draft total, and he's having to figure out a new quarterback. Probably not the guy that he was going to pick first, though maybe it was because Dylan McCaffrey ends up transferring before the season starts. You're trying to figure it out at corner and secondary. You might have to fire Don Brown regardless, right? Bring in somebody else to try to get you right, particularly somebody with a background in the secondary. And you're going to have to settle on a running back because that's the thing that is also just giving me a headache is watching Michigan not be able to run the football when I know that's all Jim Harbaugh really wants to do with his life is run the football, right? So to that question, I think that you also need to know Jim Harbaugh's buyout. And I wrote it down. His buyout is... Oh, no, I didn't write it down. I wrote down Luke Fickell's buyout. So that tells you a lot about what I think about what's going on over there, to answer your question. But I did write down Tom Herman's buyout, and it's $15.4 million. Will Muschamp's buyout is $13 million. And Jeremy Pruitt's buyout is $12.9 million, which is astronomical, as all these dudes are on the hot seat. And I don't get buyout culture being this ridiculous. And yet I have people that don't make nearly that much money trying to tell me that it's perfectly in line with their thinking that these coaches get these enormous buyouts because of all the pressure that is put on these coaches. Let me tell you something, dog. If you are a college football coach at a Power 5 school, you have no excuse for not performing. None. Zero. Nada. Zilch. Okay? As a head coach at a Power 5 football school, you don't have to worry about the things the rest of us do. You don't have to say, know when the mortgage gets paid, make sure the electric bill gets paid. You ain't got to make groceries. You ain't got to make sure all the little people got on pants in the morning. You ain't got to make sure all the little people who you make sure got on pants in the morning get to school in the morning. You ain't got to worry about whether or not the little people have lunch money or lunch is made or picking them up from school. You ain't got to worry about what channel the TV needs to be turned on to find the NCAA tournament that's going to be aired on True TV that one time a year. You ain't got to worry about the garage door code. You ain't got to worry about your address. Matter of fact, that's my favorite college football game day segment of all time. College game day segment of all time. Gene Wojciechowski is talking to Lincoln Riley and Caitlin Riley, but they're not together, right? You sit one down, you interview them. You sit the other one down, you interview them. So at this time, Gene Wojciechowski asked Caitlin, do you know or do you think that Lincoln knows how much a gallon of milk costs? Nope. And Lincoln's guessing something like $6. Not in Oklahoma, dog. Not in Oklahoma. About $3.69, right? Right around that $3 range. Y'all give you 50 cents either way, okay? Do you think that Lincoln knows the garage door code? Nope. And he doesn't. He's got the garage door opener. Do you think that Lincoln knows your home address? Nope. He gave out the wrong home address just the other day. And Lincoln's like sweating these questions because he feels like he's being punked here. And no, it's not that you're being punked. It's that you ain't never got to worry about this stuff. Matter of fact, Power 5 college football coaches ain't even got to worry about what they wearing to work. It's the same stuff that the equipment manager's going to lay out for them the day of. You wearing sweats today. You wearing a pullover tomorrow. You wearing sweats the next day. You wearing a pullover the next day. If you're a visor dude, you're a visor dude. If you're a hat dude, you're a hat dude. If you're not one of those dudes, you ain't got to worry about it. It's less that you got to worry about. You can be Jim Harbaugh and wear spikes to dinner. Wear spikes on a plane. Because we have given you this opportunity to be this kind of dude. I don't think that these coaches should get these sorts of buyouts. I don't think anybody should get that sort of a buyout. But the idea there being, I want to make it difficult for you to fire me so that I can do my job. Art Howe tried to make this argument against or with Billy Beane when he was saying, it's really difficult for me to coach the Oakland Athletics on a one-year contract. Why? Because it doesn't show that you have faith in me to turn this thing around and to give me time to go figure out what I'm going to do next with this team. It's like, well, tough. Either you want the job or you don't. Well, I want the job, but I want to know that ownership has my back. We have your back. Well, then give me a contract extension. No. Well, then I don't think you have my back. Okay, then walk. Like, it's like that. I think that that's how most people go through life. Like, most of us ain't working on a 5-year deal. Ain't working on a 6-year deal. Right? Even with this channel. If I don't show up to work, I don't get to call y'all, viewers. Simple as that. Not locked into a 5-year deal where I'm automatically going to get, let's do something arbitrary like 1,000 views. No. You put out the content. If people respond to the content, cool. If they don't, they don't. This is why I don't actually give all that much talk to what's going on in the comments. I used to when it was a smaller room. Now I just feel like people show up just to punk me. And I'm like, all right, I ain't got time for that. And I can see how that might be how Jim Harbaugh feels. I don't have time for people to just show up and punk me. Matter of fact, Wright Thompson told another dude with a large Twitter following, because I heard this on Bomani's podcast. Bomani Jones, for you, those of y'all don't know, the Right Time is really, really good. Anyway, it was quite simply like, why would I want to walk around with 40,000 hecklers in my pocket? That's kind of sometimes how the YouTube comments can feel, certainly how Twitter feels. And just as soon as I can get off of Twitter, I'm getting off of Twitter. It's rough. It's especially rough during the election year. And it's still rough because, some people are not ready to succeed, to cede the election, that they have lost the election. And yet I'm going, man, isn't this democracy? Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? Anyway, let me get back on this other thing.